Hello, loves. Back again with the 4 agreements. Today we're on chapter 5. Action, reaction. Using the 4 agreements to change your actions, reactions. Dream masters create a masterpiece of life. They control the dream by making choices. Everything has consequences, and a dream master is aware of consequences. Every action has a reaction, and for all of our life, we repeat our actions and suffer the same reactions. Perhaps we cannot see the actions or the choices when we make them, but we're always going to see the reaction, the result of what we do. Many times there are things in our lives that we don't like, that we want to change, but we make the same mistakes, the same choices, expecting that the result will be different. Well, it's not different. The only way to change your life is to change your choices, to change your actions. If there is something in your life that you don't like, first you have to be aware that it is the result of something that you do. It's the result of a choice that you made. Then, if you take one step back and focus your attention on what was happening just before the result, you will find what you did that wasn't working, what you did that caused the result that you don't want. Once you find out what action you took, the next step is to forgive the reaction and change the choice. Change the action and see what the reaction is. If you don't like the result again, you change it again and again until you have the result that you want. Perhaps you can't control what is happening or happen. Perhaps you cannot control what is going to happen around you, but you can certainly control your own reaction. Your reaction is the clue to having a wonderful life. Why? Because what makes you happy or unhappy is not what is happening around you, but how you choose to react to it. If you can learn to change your own reactions, then you can change your habits and routines, change the program, and change your life. Imagine that 10 years ago, you made a big mistake in the eyes of everybody. Everybody judged you harshly, and you judged yourself harshly also. But just because you made a mistake, does that mean you should suffer for the rest of your life? That is not fair. Your reaction is that you live with shame and guilt and low self-esteem. Your reaction is that you feel you are worthless and you want to end your life, and perhaps you don't even know why. Well, take a step back and you will find out why. It's because you are still taking the same action, and that leads to the same reaction. You think you are still suffering for what happened 10 years ago, but that is not true. The truth is that you are suffering for what happened a minute ago or 30 seconds ago. The excuse for your suffering is, I made a terrible mistake 10 years ago. The truth is that you judged yourself 30 seconds ago. If you find that you are living your life in shame or guilt right now, look one step before you felt guilt, and you will see that you judged yourself. What was the action reaction? The action was self-judgment. The action was self-rejection. The reaction is that you find yourself guilty and you believe it. Your faith is there, and your faith says, I need to be punished. Thy will be done. You are going to be punished. Now let's see how the 4 agreements can help you break the old agreement to judge and punish yourself and create a new agreement to forgive yourself. 30 seconds ago, when you judged yourself, you were not impeccable with your word. When you judged yourself, you used your word against yourself. 30 seconds ago, you took it personally, something that happened 10 years ago. It is a ghost in your mind. It is no longer true, but you took it personally. 30 seconds ago, you made a big assumption that everybody remembers what you did 10 years ago and that everybody's still condemning you. 30 seconds ago, you didn't do your best because the action you took made you feel miserable. Now you know you feel miserable because 30 seconds ago you judged yourself. If you don't want to feel miserable, you have to change the action that caused the reaction. First, you have to be impeccable with your word. You really make a commitment to be impeccable. Whenever you have the memory of what happened 10 years ago, instead of judging yourself, you can change the action and say, I forgive myself. Then the reaction will also change. Isn't that logical? It is just common sense. I forgive myself. Now you are impeccable with your word. Second, you will not take anything personally. That means even if you made a mistake and other people react and judge, it's nothing personal. You know they live in their own dream. Third, you don't make assumptions about what other people think of you. There is no way you will ever know what is in their head or how they dream. Finally, you're going to do your best, but there is only one way to do your best, and that is doing it. Not saying I will do it or I will try. It's the action that will make the difference. The action is to first use your awareness to be aware that if you're unhappy, it is because of an action you took. Second is to use your action to focus on the action-reaction and identify what action that you took. Look one step before you began to feel unhappy, and you will see the action, what the action is. Third, to shift your attention to the 4 agreements and apply them to every action-reaction. Using this process, every action-reaction of your life can be shifted like this. Awareness, attention, action, reaction. The result is very powerful. My suggestion is to keep focusing your attention through your integrity and making choices that you don't go against yourself. By focusing your attention and following your integrity, you can measure your choices by your action-reaction. The choices come from love. This choice comes from love. That choice comes from fear. This choice makes me happy. That choice makes me suffer. The difficult part is to be aware. Everything we learn from inside dream goes against awareness. We practice every agreement we create in our agreement, and our agreements go against our awareness. But we can also practice awareness until we recover awareness. To recover our awareness, we have to break our agreements with knowledge and reaffirm our commitment to honor the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements go against the majority of the agreements in our book of law and help us detach from the information from the parasite. They will help break the code of the program in our mind, but they need to be practiced, and the only way to do that is by focusing our attention. To change our agreements, we first have to know which agreements we want to change. Then we have to have enough personal power to change our agreements, because it is not our reasoning mind that can change them. The way we do it is focus our attention on the agreement we want to change and use the power of our word, our intent, to make a new agreement that we will not believe the old agreement. If we don't believe something, we agree that it's not true and we unlearn that agreement. For every agreement we break, we need to replace it with a new agreement. If there's an agreement that makes us suffer and we break it but don't replace it with another agreement that will make us happy, the old agreement will come back. If we withdraw our faith in the old agreement and invest in the new agreement, then the old agreement is gone forever, and now we believe the new agreement. Practicing new agreements in our lives is how our best becomes our better. Once we learn our new agreement, we don't need to focus our attention on it any longer. It becomes automatic and our response is always the same. All those old agreements we have that rule our dream life are the result of repeating them over and over again. Let's look into an emotional routine like getting angry. Anger is a fear with a mask, and at a certain point in your interaction with someone, you were afraid and got angry. Your anger pushed that person away. He left you alone, and you found that getting angry worked. The same situation happened again and again, and the anger became routine. It became an agreement with yourself that you need anger to feel safe. Later, you discover that anger pushes people away even when you don't want it to, and you are alone. People don't like you because of your anger, but by then you forget why you were angry in the first place. You don't know why anger has become a normal reaction for you, or why every time you are afraid, you get angry. Okay, I'm gonna cut this off here, and I'm gonna do a part 2 so I can fit the whole videos into TikTok, and then they'll be over on my YouTube channel at Inner Peace with Denise.